Hello everybody and welcome to Pilots Community. In today's video we shall discuss how to calculate the in-flight landing distance and the approach speed for Airbus A320 aircraft. So before I start, I would like to put up the disclaimer again. The content of this video is meant for academic research only, and your company's SOPs, manuals and documents supersede the information presented here. What is the importance of in-flight landing distance? Why do we calculate it? The reason is that to make the pilot situationally aware to where to stop according to the outside air condition and the aircraft status, because if you're getting headwinds, the landing distance will be less, and if you're getting tailwinds, the aircraft will stop further down the runway. And also on the aircraft status, there might be certain failures which affect the brakes, which will in turn affect the stopping distance of the aircraft. To add extra margin to the safety, FLD is calculated. FLD is factored landing distance, which is basically a safety buffer to the in-flight landing distance, wherein we add certain MEL factor and 15% of the in-flight landing distance to it. Now MEL stands for minimum equipment list. Again, there might be certain equipments that are non-functional in the aircraft which might impact the landing distance. Now there are two types of situations here: without failure or with single failure, or with several failures. So today we are going to discuss with only single failure. We will be talking about the first case here. So let us understand this by an example. I would suggest you to take a pen and paper and write down this particular scenario. Aircraft type I haven't mentioned here, but whenever you will be doing these calculations, you will be doing for a particular aircraft. So against that particular aircraft, you will take out your QRH and look into it. CG is greater than 25%, runway conditions are dry, flaps as required. We'll come to know according to our condition what should be the flap setting. The landing weight is 61 tons. Pressure altitude at the runway where we are about to land is 3000 feet. Outside air temperature 30 degrees. The runway is having 1% downslope. Now, you will not be given the downslope in percentage. In real scenario, you'll have to do this calculation. And to do this calculation, you have to go to the airport chart, and therein you can find the elevation of the two ends of the runway. Subtract those and divide it by the runway length and multiply it by 100. Then you will get the downslope. Winds 9 knots of headwinds. Both thrust reverses are operative. Auto thrust is on. And the failure which we are dealing with is slats fault. Slats less than 1. That is, none of the slats are operative. Open the QRH. In-flight performance. Landing performance assessment. Go to the method to determine aircraft performance at landing without or with single failure. So you'll see a table like this, which will give you step-by-step procedure how to do the calculations, which I'll show you in my further slides. So the first step is RCAM. RCAM stands for Runway Condition Assessment Matrix. So the first step is to analyze what is the runway condition we are talking about. So for that, go to QRH, in-flight performance, landing performance assessment, and then runway condition assessment matrix for landing. You'll see a table like this. And since our runway condition is dry, so our code is 6. Note down this code on your notebook. The second step is to determine the flap lever position. For this, you'll go to the in-flight performance, landing distance with slats flaps system failure. If you go to this particular section, you will see a table like this for slats flap system failure. And in our example, the particular failure is slats fault with slats less than 1. So this is our case. And if you look at the table, you'll see flap lever for landing should be 3. So our flaps as per the failure should be config 3. Third step is V approach determination, for which we'll go to in-flight performance, landing performance assessment, V approach determination with failure. If you go as per this, you'll end up in this table. And you can see here at the top of the table, the V approach formula is mentioned. V approach is VREF plus delta VREF plus approach correction. So first step is finding the VREF, which you can find using this particular table. Our case CG is greater than 25% and our weight is 61 tons. For 60 tons, the VREF is mentioned as 124, but if you interpolate between 60 and 65, for 61 tons, it comes out to be 125. And for calculating the delta VREF, we have to go back to that table for our landing distance with failure table for slats flaps. And here at the table, we can see the delta VREF is mentioned for slats less than 1, which is 25 knots. Now the third correction is the approach correction. And since our delta VREF is 25 knots, we'll go to this particular section of the table which shows that approach correction is 0 knots. So our V approach comes out to be 125 plus 25 plus 0, which is 150 knots. Then the step 4 is calculation of landing distance itself, for which we'll go to the slats flaps failure table, and for our particular failure of slats less than 1, we'll start applying the corrections to the reference distance, which is 1490. So the reference distance is 1490 meters, and we'll start applying the correction from left to right. So the first correction is the weight correction. Per 1 ton above 78 tons, add 50 meters. But our landing weight is 61 tons, which is 17 tons below 78. So if you go to the bottom of the table, point number 2 says that weight correction, subtract 10 meters per 1 ton below 78 tons. So we need to subtract 17 into 10, which is minus 170 meters. Then speed correction is not applicable for us. Then comes the altitude correction. Per 1000 feet above sea level, add 70 meters. Now the pressure altitude at our landing airfield is 3000 feet. So we'll add 17 to 3, which comes out to be 210 meters. The next correction is the wind correction. Now this is not applicable to us because we are getting headwinds. Then comes the temperature correction. Per 10 degrees centigrade above ISA, add 60 meters. Now at 3000 feet of pressure altitude, as per the ISA, the temperature should have been 15 minus 6, which is 9 degrees centigrade. But our outside air temperature is 30 degrees, which is 21 degrees higher than the ISA. So for 10 degrees it is 60. So for 21 it will be 6 into 21, which comes out to be 126 meters. Simple maths. Then the next correction is the slope correction. Per 1% downslope, add 40 meters. In our example, we are having 1% downslope, so we'll add 40 meters. Then we have thrust reverses correction. Per thrust reverses operative, subtract 20 meter. Since we have both the thrust reverses operative, we will subtract 40 meters. And then lastly, the overweight correction, which is not applicable to us because we are not overweight. So lastly, the approach speed comes out to be 150 knots as per the calculations shown. And the in-flight landing distance, by adding all the corrections to the reference distance, comes out to be 1656 meters. Then the factored landing distance, will add the 15% of in-flight landing distance to our in-flight landing distance, which will give us 1905 meters. So this is all in approach speed and landing distance calculation. If you like this video, hit the like button and do subscribe to my channel. If you haven't seen my previous videos, do watch them. Bye bye.